Hi, welcome to the Sales Strategies for Christian Coaches podcast. I'm Justin Janowski, your host, and I started my coaching business in December of 2018, just hoping to make it. I remember having a lot of self-doubt internally, and externally, I remember feeling really overwhelmed with all the strategies in the marketplace and feeling like I couldn't possibly do all that and running my coaching business. I had to find a simplified plan and surrender my business to God. And when I did that, miraculous things happened. I collected over $250,000 in revenue that first year in business. And I've been helping other Christian coaches ever since building their businesses. We've worked with over 1,000 coaches now, and it's really rewarding work for me. That's what this podcast is about, helping you with your business design, your signature offers, your sales and marketing strategies, and more. Today, I want to talk to you about something I think is really important, and it's the moment of decision. The truth is, so much of what we do as entrepreneurs, so much of what we do as salespeople, so much of what we do as coaches comes down to the moment of decision. And I want you to pay attention to the language there and recognize the truth in this, that decision happens in a moment. We might spend a lot of time thinking and researching and preparing and considering and praying, but ultimately, in the end, decision happens in a single moment. And this is important to note because when you're coaching someone, our job, I believe, as coaches and leaders, is to call people to a moment of decision where they decide on what they want, where they decide on who they're going to be when they show up on a day-to-day basis, when they decide on the commitment that they're going to make or the plan of action. And of course, when they decide to move into implementation on the things that they've learned and they've committed to, all of these things come from a moment of decision. The same thing is true on a sales call. When you're in a sales conversation with somebody, your job as the coach, as the leader, as a salesperson, is to get someone to a place where they can confidently take that moment to make a decision that's in their best interest. And it might be working with you and joining your program. It might be taking some other course of action, and that's fine too. We just want to call people to that moment of decision. And so if we get great at anything, this is what we need to be great at as a salesperson, as a coach. But this is what I really wanted to share with you today. This is going to be a short and sweet episode because I want you to spend additional time just considering what I'm sharing here with you now, breathing it in, soaking it in, meditating on it. The truth is, your business and the success of it is going to come down to your own moments of decision. You had a moment of decision, or maybe you haven't had it yet if you're just dipping your toes in the water and thinking about becoming a coach and entrepreneur. But for most of you listening, you had a moment where you decided to be a coach. You had a moment where you decided to launch your own business. If you haven't had that moment yet, you might consider having that moment right now. If you've been researching, studying, considering, might this be the moment where you say yes, where you decide? Because that moment of decision can change everything that happens after it, everything that happens next. If you have already decided to run a coaching business or to become an entrepreneur or to launch something and you're still feeling stuck, it's because you're ready for the next moment of decision and you need to make it. And that next moment of decision might be deciding on your signature offer for your business and deciding that you're not going to tinker and think about it and change it every other week, that you're just going to make a decision now and say, this is my starting offer and this is my starting price point, or this is my current offer and my current price point, and begin sharing that offer and inviting people to it. Taking all the moments of study and research and consideration away and now deciding to move forward in a certain direction. It might be that you need a moment of decision where you decide on a clear marketing and lead flow strategy. You stop keeping all the doors open and you say, here are the one or two or three things I'm going to focus on to attract my ideal clients. And then making that decision each day or each week to pursue the activities that you decided that you would take action on until they work, until the results begin to come. And for some of you, it's actually booking the sales call, or it's actually making your offer. You need to decide, even right now, as you're listening to this podcast, in this moment, that it is time for you to book calls, or it is time for you to make your offer. It is time for you to invite people to buy. And you might just decide right now that you're going to do that. And maybe there's a quantity assigned to that for you. Maybe it's to say that you're going to send 10 messages a week inviting people to calls, or you're going to hold 3 sales calls a week and invite people to buy. Or maybe it's something else for you. For others of you, you know that you need help. You are in that discovery phase. You are in the phase of researching and figuring out and trying to put together your offers and figure out your sales strategy. And you don't have all the puzzle pieces together yet to have that moment of decision to move into action. And so for you, the question is, what's the decision that you need that's going to precede the action? What's the other decision that you need to make? Maybe you need to hire your mentor, your coach. I had a moment of decision a couple of months ago where I recognized I'd been thinking for a little while, I need my next coach. I'm ready for my next mentor. And I had a moment where I just decided, today I'm going to hire my next coach. I'm going to hire my next mentor. And I made a list of qualities I was looking for. I made a short list of people who I thought fit the bill. I prayed about it. And in a moment, I knew who was my first choice. And I made that phone call and I had that conversation. And when it felt like the right fit, it felt like the right conversation, I gave him my credit card. I said yes. And I hired a coach for $1,500 a month, someone who I knew could really help me take the next step I need to take in my growing business. Maybe that's the moment of decision you need, is to get the help that you need to take the next step for yourself. Or maybe it's something else, right? Whatever it is for you, I want you to remember this truth, that almost all of our success and actions come from the moments of decision that we take. And whatever that next decision is for you to make, my encouragement is for you to make it now. If you'd like help, by the way, in figuring out what the next steps are for you in developing your business, in figuring out how to conquer sales, how to actually start having success, maybe overcoming some of those old limiting beliefs that you have around sales and money and your own identity, trying to identify what is the next decision you need to make, or what are the problems that are standing in the way, we're running a really cool weekly webinar right now called Land More Coaching Clients. And you can sign up for that at www.landcoachingclients.com. I would love for you to come and join us in that training. It'll be live. I'd love to get to spend some time with you and provide some additional training similar to the nature of this podcast and help you find your next moment of decision. I believe that a lot of clarity can come out of that time together. Thank you for spending some time with me today. God bless you. I hope you have an amazing week. I'm cheering for you. I'm praying for you in your business. I'm praying for sales and success. And that as God blesses you, that you'd become more and more a blessing to others, that you would bless your clients, that you would serve them with integrity, that you'd be a blessing to your family and you'd provide in a meaningful way, that you would be a blessing to your neighbors and to your community, that you would be a blessing to your church, and that you would tithe generously and give back, and that God would do so much good through you and your business. Join us at landcoachingclients.com for the webinar. And I'll see you next week with our next episode of the podcast. Cheers.